Hello, it's Dawn here from Dawn's Inspirations. I put this video out to showcase the flower forming foam from Crafter's Companion, and I showed you this floating cup that I made for a demo day that I was doing for them over at the Crafter's Companion Chesterfield store. So many of you have been in touch from all over the world, really, from across the pond to different countries to here in the UK, asking if I would do a video tutorial to show how I did it and also how I made the flowers to pop in it. So I thought we'd start off with how we actually get the cup to float. So I've got another cup here. So I've just got a regular cup and saucer. You could pick these up from a charity shop, or if you've got some that a relative's left you that, you know, they're sitting in a box in the attic. It's a great way to do a project like this, showcasing some flowers so you've got them out on display. So I've got a cup here. It's got quite a lot of detail on it. So the first thing I would suggest to you is look at what detail you've got as to which way around you want your cup to go. So if I had my cup floating that way, there's not a lot going on there. So I'm going to have it this way with that on the top. And then you need to look at your saucer. So bear in mind that a lot is going to be covered by your flowers. So again, if you like the birds and the detail here, have that at the back. So I'm going to have this at the back, and I'm going to have my cup floating like that. Let me bring this in shot, okay? Now you see a lot of floating cups out there. They're done with forks, so you can have them quite high up and tilted quite far back. If you look at mine, I didn't want mine overlapping too much because it'd take up too much space, and I'm going to do the same with this one. So all I'm using for mine is a teaspoon. This is a teaspoon I picked up at a supermarket here in the UK, and really the cheaper the better. I think these were like 6 for 40p. So the cheaper the better, because then they bend more easily. So let me just move my cup to one side. And the first thing you need to do is we need to get it bending. So I'm going to bend this side. So I've got just some regular pliers. Okay. I'm sure if you raid your husband's toolbox, you'll find something. And if I'm going to hold this way, I find holding with a cloth also helps your hands as well. And I'm just going to pop it around the neck of the spoon, and I'm just going to bend it. Okay, it might take a little bit of bending, but as you can see, it goes quite quickly. All right, so that's bent quite quickly. All right, and then at the end here, what we need to have a zigzag. Okay, so again, I'm going to hold the spoon with a little bit of an angle here. And this time I'm going to bend this upwards. So just holding it in your hand, okay, and just giving it. But you can see how quickly that bends. In no time at all. That's live, okay? So no time at all, that has bent. Now you want to bring your cup and saucer in to see if the angles are right. So I sort of tend to go rule of thumb. In fact, I'm going to have my spoon downwards this time. Let's have that. The bowl of the spoon down on there, okay, and the neck of the cup there. So this is where you can play with it and have it where you wish, if you like. Okay, so you can have it right the way over, you can have it hovering at the back, you can have it more of a tilt. This is where you have the choice. Okay, so I think I'm going to get this one. Just going to bend this up a little bit so it's not quite so bent. Now I personally like to do my hot glue gun in when I'm gluing this on and let it dry for 24 hours. You can see what we're getting at. Okay, so I'm just going to, in fact, I'm just going to, this is the time to play with this till you get it exactly how you want it, where you're comfortable with it. So let's have a look now. Yeah, I think I'm about happy with that. So I've chosen, I'm going to have my pattern with my bird at the front, and I've got my spoon here at the front. Now when you do your spoon, it doesn't matter if you've got the the dip downwards or the dip upwards. Doesn't matter at all, because we are going to use lots and lots of hot glue. And this is why I would always suggest doing this 24 hours before you start adding your flowers, and you'll see why. Because we want the glue to take off is the first thing, but also when you start applying your hot glue, you'll see that it's clear, but by the time we come to actually add the flowers, it's going to be all cloudy, and that means it's really dried off. So I'm just putting loads and loads of hot glue, and let me get another stick and pop in there quickly. Okay, so loads and loads of hot glue all over the bowl of the spoon. And this is where you just go for it. Just really add lots and lots and lots. So you can see that's clear. So I'm going to position that where I want it, which is about there. Now, this is why I have a cloth handy. Okay, as you'll just find out like I've just done. Have a cloth handy. This is a hot glue gun. Okay, that's hot. Don't press it down with your finger, because you will burn your finger. So this is where this grubby cloth of mine comes in handy, because I can now just push it down onto the saucer, because we want to be safe. So I'm just pressing that down onto the saucer. I've got a bit of paper there that I don't need. So I'm pressing this down. Now that's still got a little bit of movement. So as I said to you, you're going to use a lot of hot glue. So this is where now I'm going to cake around the edge. I would rather use too much hot glue than not enough, because at the end of the day we're going to cover this with those beautiful flowers that we're going to create from the flower forming foam. So you're not going to see any of this, so just keep adding and adding as much glue as you can. So I'm going all the way around the edge. You can see I've got a nice pool of glue which is clear, but when we come back to this tomorrow, this will be cloudy. So I'm just adding lots and lots of glue, and I'm going to put some right around that back bit as well, because this isn't going to move. In fact, this cup and saucer I'm using was given to me as a gift and it had a candle in it. So I burnt the candle, and now I'm upcycling it by making a lovely floating teacup and saucer. Now these are great for, some ladies have already got in touch with me asking if I'd do a tutorial, because they're thinking their daughter's wedding tables. You know, if you've got a venue and you can't have candles and things, this is a great way of using at a wedding venue. Now if it's moved a bit, because I can't put my cloth on, can you see that you've still got that movement? This is why I want you to do this part and let it dry for 24 hours. Right, I'm happy with that now. The next stage is we are now going to glue the cup, and this is then where you're going to balance and prop this all up with towels and everything you've got handy to hold it in place. So I'm just looking at how high I've got it and what I'm going to use to prop it all together. The one I did with that one is I did it like that, and then I tilted it and propped it all up against the wall. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same again, so you know which side you're going to have your base of your spoon stuck to. You can see this is starting to go cloudy already, but I've still got movement, so this is why I want the length of time. I know I keep saying it, but you do need that little length of time. So I'm going to turn this over, and the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put loads and loads again of hot glue gun there, and then I'm going to bring my cup in, position it where I want it, and this is where you've got to balance a bit, because you've either got to use your pliers or a cloth. I'm going to just use my pliers to get that where I want it. When you're happy with where it is, because this is the stage now, if you want to reposition it, just pull it apart. Won't break the cup or saucer. And then I'm just going to go in again with lots and lots of glue. Don't worry, because it is going to be covered by your flowers. So I'm just popping that in. I'm going to push down again. If I bring that up, you can see how that's clear. Don't worry about all these strings. We can tidy those up. We can pull those away once everything is dry. Okay, I'm going to try and feed in another hot glue stick in a minute, because I am literally just going to cake it, because this baby isn't going anywhere. Okay, I think I've got enough on there now. So that is how you want it. This is the stage now you need to prop it so it can dry overnight, because obviously I don't want the spoon taking the weight at this stage. So this is where you find anything you got in your craft room, and this is exactly why, to prop it all in place while that's setting overnight. Okay, and then I will come back to you tomorrow and we will start looking at the foam flowers and how we are going to add them. This is nicely drying, so I can start looking. Can you see how I've propped it up? So I'm going to just pop that to one side, leave that propped up still, and I'm going to give you a heads up on the flowers I'm going to be using for our kit, or for our floating cup and saucer. I'm using the leaves and vines, so I'm going to be using some of those. I've got the peony dies here, so you've got 3 large ones in here, but you can make so many different flowers with these, and I'll show you what we will do with those. And I'm also going to use the lily as well. Again, this one's so versatile. You've got 5 different ones in here, so not only can you do lilies and poinsettias, but also it's great for making little fuchsias that can hang. And I'm just thinking, with the cup and saucer I've got here with the colours, I think I might add a few of those this time that I haven't on the other one. The foam I'm going to be using is, you can tell I've already been using it, is the foliage green. Okay, so I've got the foliage green. I've got the floral bouquet, so I'm going to use some of that. I've also got some of the normal whites. I'll just bring that down. Okay, so this is the natural white foam as well, because the natural white foam you can colour to any colour you wish. So the thing is, look at your project. So if I bring in my original one, can you see I looked at the cup and I looked at the colours that were in the cup, and that's what I've used. So this one I've kept very much the orange and lemons. Okay, so I've kept that colour palette going. But the one we're going to be doing, if I just slide it in very carefully, has got blues in, pinks in, so I'm thinking I'm going to go that colourway. So if I don't have enough of my foam, white is always a good one to have. You can colour this quite happily with your Harmony ink pads. So I've just picked out a few that I'll probably use. I've got fuchsia, pink tulip, and I've got winter rose, and then with the blues I've got baby blue, and I've got oasis. And you're just going to use your foam pads to colour those, but I'll show you how we're going to do that. So I've got all my ink pads ready, I've got my dies ready, I've got my foam ready. So what I'm going to do is, you don't need to see me die cutting them up, but I'm going to get some die cut up ready, get all my wire ready as well. So you're going to need wire. Let me show you the wire that I use. So I picked mine up just in a garden centre, and this is the wire that I use. It's a very thin wire, okay, and I find it easy because it's not too pliable, it's not too hard to work with, so I just use thin wire. I've got all my stamens in here, as you can see in my box of goodies. I've got all my stamens, I've got my tools already, and I've also got my flower foaming or forming ball tools as well from Crafter's Companion. So they're all in here. So I've got those all ready with the foam. So I've got all my supplies ready. I'm going to die cut some foam flowers out, and then I'll come back to you showing you how we can ink some up, how we can shape them to make some different flowers, so we can start making our floating cup and saucer.